Books make you hope. Books make you dream. Books make you laugh. Books make you scream. This is the Books That Make You show, discussing books with authors and experts, unraveling the inner pages of all the books that help make us who we are. Hosted by Desiree Duffy.
Get ready, everyone. We're going to get booky with it. Welcome to Books That Make You. I'm your host, Desiree Duffy. And today we are talking about books that make you end a toxic relationship, which is something that, and our guest is laughing in the background. Are you in a toxic relationship? Are you trapped and you feel like you can't get out? Well, maybe the good memories or the potential that you see in your man or in your woman, they keep you stuck in a cycle of misery and make you ignore the voice that's in your heart. Well, fortunately, it's never too late to break up with a toxic partner and release yourself from negative patterns. And we are talking today to somebody who's pulled herself out of a toxic relationship. And she's also previously been a guest on our show, so you are going to recognize her. She is also the author of the book I Choose Love. A.G. Billig is here to share her 5 actionable steps with you. Her new book is called 5 Easy Steps to Ending a Toxic Relationship. Unplug the Negativity Chord, and jumpstart your emotional healing. After A.G.'s father passed away when she was just 21, A.G. found herself experiencing one toxic relationship after another. The men in her life sabotaged her self-worth, they undermined her self-confidence, and they used her. Her journey to kicking her addiction to drama and finding inner peace inspired her to write this book as a roadmap that will help you break free from a toxic relationship. A.G., how you doing?
Hey, well, I'm doing great now that I'm out of the toxic relationship.
That's why you're laughing. You're like, yeah, I did it.
Well, I'm kidding and not, but it's great to be back on the show. It's great to be here with you and your wonderful listeners. So basically, yeah, that's what I'm most happy about today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, and it's always good to have you here. And I love the fact that you have a very giving, universal, loving theme to everything that you do. I mean, obviously, the first book, I Choose Love, was about you taking ownership and finding love. Not even just romantic love, but choosing to, bring into your life the positive things and letting go of fear. Now, this book, juxtaposed to that, is more of a how-to guide if you're stuck in one of those toxic relationships. So can you tell me a little bit about, obviously your background and your past led you to writing this book. So how is it that people find ourselves in toxic relationships? What's going on with us that sometimes we gravitate to them?
Wow, this is such a vast topic, and I think like half an hour is not really enough to get into it, but at the end of the day, everything has to do with ourselves. And as I mentioned in the book, often the toxic relationships we experience in our lives, and it's not just about our partner. In a couple relationships, every now and then people experience this kind of toxic relationships with family members or with coworkers. So it's everything circles back to us because the people who push our buttons are our best teachers. And apparently, when somebody pushes our buttons, and especially our partner in a couple, because that person is our supposedly some of the closest persons in our life, right? Besides our parents, depending on our relationship with our parents or our siblings. But our partner in a couple is somebody really close to us. It's a person in front of whom we open up. So we open up our hearts, so we feel vulnerable. And that's why a couple relationship, when it gets rocky, it's a wonderful way to heal and to look at ourselves and see what's going on there, what's going on within us. Because as I started to say earlier, these people are often mirrors, or they are teachers, and they are there because they need to show us something, and they are there to help us grow and to help us heal. And a relationship can go at times when there is fighting, so it can go through these times of, let's say, toxicity, where a lot of negativity is brought up to the surface. But if the two partners take the time, to distance themselves from what's going on, and instead of blaming each other, to see, okay, what triggered me, and what is it really going on here, and let me try and see the other person's point of view, and
Right.
let's see what I can learn from it. Then that whole toxicity kind of goes away, and that whole event that triggered the fight can turn into a wonderful opportunity to learn, to grow, and actually to bond closer together.
You're zeroing in on the fact that this is something that can be a benefit, because a lot of times people feel if they're in a toxic relationship, and even after they get out of it, that was a waste of my time. You'll hear people say things, well, that was the worst 5 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying look at the positive.
Yeah, there is always something, even in the most, and I think especially because when things are good, everybody's happy, right? So, and usually when things are good, it means that we are in our comfort zone. So when we are in our comfort zone, I don't think there is much for us to learn, or there is much room for growth, when we experience events that trigger us or force us to take a step out of this comfort zone, or think outside the box. That's when growth can happen. And we are here on this journey on Earth to grow and to expand our limits, and actually to discover how limitless we are. And there were those terrible fires in Australia, and then people came together and they started meditating, and then the rain started falling. So I'm giving you this example to show you how powerful we are, because part of being in a toxic relationship, and why psychologists refer to those kind of relationship as toxic, is that they are so disempowering for the person who experience their relationship from the point of view of a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of like a spiral that goes down and down, and the more that person sees herself or himself as a victim and taken advantage of, and blaming the partner, and not taking any action to uplift her spirits or to just leave the relationship, then things get more and more toxic.
So you talk about when people have their buttons pressed. And we all know, we've all heard that saying before, he's pressing my buttons, and it's usually because of something relatively small. Oh, you forgot to take out the trash, and they're going to give you a hard time. Or they might make a passive-aggressive comment about what you're wearing because they don't like that shade of blue on you. So it's a way to kind of get to somebody. In a toxic relationship, can it get much more involved than just pressing buttons? I mean, in some cases, there's mental abuse, there's gaslighting, physical abuse.
Yeah, sure. There are several ways in which some people deliberately keep their partners in this kind of toxicity, so they can, at the end of the day, it is all about being in control. And these people, they think that they need to be in control. Otherwise, they feel powerless, or they don't see the point of being in a relationship. So, I think it is it is important if if you are in a relationship that you tend to label as being toxic, it's important to see if your partner is acting in a certain way because he had certain, traumatic experiences during childhood, and actually he or she acts in a certain way because they are triggered as well, but by something that you do. And in that case, I think you can talk, and if there's love there, I think that love always prevails, and I think you can find a solution and actually help each other heal. But and then there is the other, scenario where the partner deliberately wants to keep you in this kind of victimhood mentality and control you. And they can do different things, like you said, gaslighting, emotional abuse, physical abuse. They can, throw anger tantrums. They can belittle you and they can do it especially in public, so that you feel humiliated, or they can try to make you believe that you're not capable of making your own decision and you have to rely on them from every little decision you make, and that leads to over dependency. So these are just a few examples, and I go into detail in my book about how toxic partners manipulate and control the other person in the relationship. And even if they don't do it deliberately, but even if they do it because, as I said earlier, they get triggered, if they don't want to look at themselves and see what's going on there and try to grow and evolve and heal their past traumas, and even seek professional help, then this relationship is not going to go anywhere, and it's going to take your toll on you, and everything around us is energy. So when you immerse yourself in this kind of negative environment, it will be difficult for you to express your gifts and your talents and to enjoy life. And the other thing is that, it will also have a negative impact on your relationships with, the other people around you, with your friends, with your family, with your coworkers.
That's such a great point, because this is something that permeates beyond just the relationship, and it impacts your work life and your physical health. Yeah. Dig into that a little bit further.
Yeah. So, and, I did it for a while, when I had, something went wrong in my relationship, I had a couple of few friends, and I would talk to them, and they would give their little 5 cents about it and give me advice. And I still, did what I wanted to do. So, people are supportive and they give you advice, but at some point, if they see that, you're not listening, little by little, they will go their own separate way. And, I think friends are important in our lives and family. So, it is important to keep these people close to you. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the steps I recommend in the book, because I don't necessarily focus on the problem. I focus more on the solution, and, surrounding yourself with positive people is one of the main things you need to do if you want to really break free of a toxic relationship.
And it says here that you can also find out what your real needs are in a relationship. And I think that's so important because sometimes we lose sight of what we're really looking for in a relationship, what we're looking for in ourselves, what we're looking for in our lives. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? How do we find out what our real needs are?
Sure. I think I have several checklists in the book. So each chapter ends with a checklist and an exercise that will help you get clear on your vision about love and relationships and what you really seek and need in a relationship. But I think that we actually get to have these really fulfilling and harmonious relationships in our lives when we don't need anything out of a relationship, when we are when we get to accept ourselves as who we are and love ourselves as who we are and feel whole and complete. And then we get into a relationship not to take something from another person, but to give and to grow together. So when I talk about the needs in a relationship, I'm talking actually about how do you want to feel in a relationship? Do you want to feel energized and uplifted and inspired and kind of feel like your wings are growing and inspiring each other. So what is your vision for that relationship?
Exactly. And I know, too, that my condolences on your father passing away at such a young age. And that hole that's there, that seems to be something that in not just your situation, but other people's situations, too, when we have a great loss like that, especially somebody who's a model of, because let's face it, we see our parents, we see our mothers and our fathers as people who we emulate their relationship. So when that happens and you have this hollow part, is it a matter of people trying to fill it and they're doing it the wrong way because they feel that they lost something and maybe they're not worthy, etc.? Do you want to maybe get into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I think especially, like for me as a girl, my father played a crucial role in my life, especially that he retired when I was still in elementary school. So I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he was the one who encouraged me to pursue this literary dream of mine to write books and help people and entertain people with my books. Whereas for boys, usually the mothers are really important. So the relationship we have with our parents definitely informs our couple relationship. So whatever issues are in that relationship we have with our parents, those issues will show up in our couple relationship. So, for example, if a man during his childhood, he has his mother is nagging and invades his privacy and isn't supportive, that thing will lately show up in the couple relationship, because he will sometimes react to his partner's behavior in a way that seems blown out of proportion, but in reality, something in his partner's behavior will remind him of his mother's behavior. So actually his reaction will be a reaction, so not a response, and it will be kind of generated by his childhood experience. So that's what I was saying, that the couple relationship, it's a wonderful opportunity to look back at what happened to us and heal and become who we are meant to become.
And your book, one of the things I really do like about it, like you said, it's like a workbook, but It's not necessarily work. It's not like, ooh, this is hard. But as you're writing this down, it's cathartic, and it helps you see it. When you write something down and you put it in front of you, then it starts to become crystal clear. So congratulations for putting together just an excellent book that's easy to follow and so helpful like that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was cathartic because I was kind of in a relationship that wasn't working really well, and then a friend of mine who's also an author, he said, oh, you've been through so many experiences that were rocky and toxic, and you found a way out. So he said, I think this book would help a lot of people, so you should write it. And I said, okay, sure.
Good idea.
I'll get to work. Yeah, good idea. Yeah. I wanted to, I felt it was time for me to publish a new book, since my novel is still, I'm still working on it.
I want to find out about your novel too. Okay, we'll talk about that. I totally get it. And just to underscore, one of the great things about you, AG, and not just this book, but I Choose Love as well, is you've taken the negative stuff, the bad stuff in your own life, and you've just twisted it, and you've found the positive. So now here's you. You went through these toxic relationships, but now the good that you're putting into the world, it is not just helping you, but it's helping all the people who are reading your book. So congratulations on that. That's really fabulous.
Thank you. And I think we all have this power of transmuting what we perceive as being bad in our life into something good, because it's just a matter of perception. We just label things as bad or good, but at the end of the day, we get to choose what we make out of our experiences. Mm-hmm. And if we want them to be bad, then they will be bad. But if they want them to be good, then at the end of the day, they will be good, because we have learned something out of it.
Mm-hmm. It's all a matter of our perception.
Yeah. And also being present and looking at it not from a victim's perspective, but from the perspective of someone who's an observer, and looking at it and saying, what's in it for me? What can I learn? How can I grow? And I think just by switching lens this way, it helps, it empowers you, because, you're not going like, this is happening to me and look what this person is doing to me. You're going like, okay, so I know everything in the universe is energy. I know like attracts like, so I attracted this into my life for a purpose. What is the purpose? And then once you find the purpose, then, you move forward, up on the spiral, up on your growth spiral. That doesn't mean that you have to stay in a toxic relationship, or in a relationship that's full of struggle and fighting and negativity. No way. But instead of looking at it like, something horrible in your life, when you move past it, just look at it as something that helps you grow, and also showed you how strong you are, and help you find your inner strength, your inner power. And the whole thing is just to go through this process of, I describe in the book through the 5 steps, so that you never experience that again. All
right. You teased us a little bit that you're working on a novel. Just a little. You threw out that matzo ball for us to go chasing after. So tell us. I don't want to jump too far ahead because you're still working on it, so we probably don't know the release date or anything, but tell us a bit about your novel.
Well, I have a literary agent, Stephen Hudson, you know him, so he's going to shop it around and look for a publisher. But again, it's a love story. It's a love story about, and actually it's a trilogy. So the first book is set in Dublin, then we come here, Southern California, LA, and then we go to Thailand. So this Eastern European woman in her early 30s is looking for true love, and while she's still like in her Eastern European country of birth, she gets a gift for her 30th birthday, a reading with a famous psychic from that country. And this lady tells her she has a 3-year window frame to go and look for this person who supposedly is the lover of her life and her true partner. And she has to cross the pond to find this person. So
This person sounds a little familiar to me, AG.
I don't know who you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, and she, one other clue I can give you is that she's using online dating apps.
Okay.
To find this guy. So initially, there are several dating apps, people who are still, who met their partner through an online dating app know what those are.
Yeah.
So initially I used the name. Now I took it off, but we'll see.
Okay. So this novel, it's fictionalized, obviously, but
yeah,
it's inspired a lot by your real life.
Yeah, I spent a couple of months in Dublin, so I'm pretty familiar with that place. And then obviously Southern California, LA, and I've traveled to Thailand. And I did try online dating. It didn't really work for me, but I know it worked for other people. And I know it's a big thing right now. I mean,
whatever works, right? Everybody, it can work great for some people and for other people not so much.
Yeah, and I also want to mention that it's this trilogy is actually a self-discovery journey, because with each match she gets online, or each encounter, she discovers a little bit more about who she is and what she wants and what her needs are.
Oh, I love that. AG, you are so amazing, engaging, and absolutely wonderful. I want everybody to be able to find you online, find the book. Can you tell us where people can do that?
Oh, thank you. Sure. So I love Instagram. So if you go to Instagram, you will find me there as AG_Billig, BILLIG. I also have a Facebook page, which is AG Billig, BILLIG. And also my author website, www.agbillig.com. And if you sign up to my newsletter, to my mail list, you will get a free copy of my first short story collection, traditionally published by MP Publishing in the UK, 4 Doors and Other Stories. So if you sign up, you'll get the free PDF in your inbox.
I love that. Free stuff. That's excellent. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
So once again, the book is called 5 Easy Steps to Ending a Toxic Relationship. Unplug the Negativity Chord and Jumpstart Your Emotional Healing by A.G. Billig. Thank you, A.G., so much for joining us today. It's been so much fun talking to you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. And so that you know, the book is available as an ebook and paperback on Amazon, just on Amazon for now. And this is a book that will make you heal, will heal you, because we are books that make you. So this actually, that's my goal, to help you heal and find joy and love into your life. Thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure to be on this show every time. I enjoy it so much, and I enjoy listening to you every week. So,
yeah, you bet, AG. We'll have you back again. Once again, 5 Easy Steps to Ending a Toxic Relationship by A.G. Billig. You can find it on Amazon. Really, that's where most people go to buy their books anyway. You don't really need to be anywhere else. Thank you again, AG, for joining us. Once again, my name is Desiree Duffy, and thanks for listening to us today on the Books That Make You show. You can find out more on our website. That's booksthatmakeyou.com. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram. Really easy to find. You can also sign up for our newsletter, and we're always giving away books and surprises and having lots of bookish fun. Until next time, all of my bibliophiles. Please enjoy all of the books that make you exactly who you are.
The executive producer for Books That Make You is Desiree Duffy. Produced and sound mastered by Phil Giangrande. Engineering by Dave Nabox. Social media and promotion by Bree Sweeter. For more, visit booksthatmakeyou.com.